Hi Pisces, welcome to September. This is Teresa from Tarot by T. And let's see what's happening this month. Well, we have Venus moving into Virgo, your 7th house of partnership, on September 6th. Then we have a full moon in your sign on the 10th. And right after that, Mercury goes retrograde. And then we have a new moon in Libra on the 25th. And Mercury will be retrograding from Libra back into Virgo, which is your 7th house. And then it will go direct and move into around the end of the month and move into back into Libra, where it will go direct in October. So let's see what the cards say about love and relationships, and then we'll look at the astrology. So what does Pisces need to know about love and relationships for September 2022? What is coming up for Pisces? What is coming up for September in terms of love and relationship for Pisces? What does Pisces need to know? The Chariot, the Knight of Swords, the Magician, the Two of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups, the Four of Swords, the King of Swords, the Queen of Swords, the Hermit, the Six of Cups, and the card at the bottom of the deck is the Tower. So major changes are coming, but you've got the Nine of Cups, so it's going to work out. All right, so you have the Chariot. This is a card of victory through discipline and focus. Maybe you've been really scattered lately. You've had a lot of irons in the fire. It's telling you to focus on what's really important in your life. So if there's something you really want in a relationship, don't be distracted by all these other possibilities. Figure out, who is it that I really want? What do I really want in this partnership? And just focus on the goal. Don't let yourself being pulled in like all these different directions. Because the card here is, here's this chariot driver, and the horses represent his mind or his base desires. Like one horse wants to go this way, one horse wants to go that way. And unless you focus and realize, really try to focus your mind, the mind will be like, the monkey mind. It'll take you all over the place. So you have to really decide what's important. You have to be in control. You can't let, your thoughts, random thoughts control you. You have to figure out, what do I want to focus on? Because if you don't have a focus or a goal and you just let your mind wander, it's going to make you crazy. It'll be all over the place, and you won't be able to achieve what you want to achieve. The Chariot's also a card about travel. So it could be that you're going to have an opportunity to travel. I feel like you're ready to take action because you have this Knight of Swords energy. Now this could be you, or it could also be someone in your environment that you're dealing with. But the Knight of Swords is, if it's a person, it's someone who could be a little bit hasty and argumentative. Like you feel like they're always wanting to fight with you. Or they're reckless. They're kind of insensitive to your feelings. And they may do things recklessly, and you think like, why are you doing that? That's crazy, Why are you being so reckless? You may not approve of the way they take action it's not that they want to hurt you. It's just that they're just insensitive. They don't see how their behavior affects others. So Pisces is a very sensitive sign. You feel everything. And, so if you're around someone who's, like especially an air sign, you may feel like they don't have your best interests at heart. They don't feel like you feel. Like they're all logic and no emotion. So you could be dealing with an air sign. On the other hand, the Knight of Swords can also mean don't do anything reckless. So if you're thinking, sometimes we get bored with our situation and we think, oh, something's got to give, something's got to change, and you just jump into something without thinking. So you don't want to do that either. You don't want to just do something like that. You don't want to do something that's like a reactive response to what's going on in your life. You want to make a strategic move, not a reactive move. So if you're the one who's thinking of jumping into something recklessly, you may want to like hold your breath, count to 10, and give it some more thought. And think about, what am I doing? What is my strategic plan? And how does this fit in with that? Am I just jumping into something just because it's there and, or how does it fit in with my life path and my plan? That's what you need to be thinking about, especially if it's a relationship. And, you don't want to just jump into something just because you're bored or you're lonely. You want to think, is this person right for me? You have the Magician here. This is a card of communication and manifestation. So you could be dealing with someone who's a very good communicator and maybe a little bit of a trickster. So you want to make sure it's not what they say, it's what they do that counts. I always tell people this because this is the biggest lesson you could ever learn. Because I've learned it the hard way in my life. Because people can talk is cheap. People can tell, oh, I love you, you're the best thing that ever happened to me. Meanwhile, they're out, talking behind your back or who knows what. So don't listen to what somebody says. Watch what they do. If someone really cares about you, they're going to show it in their behavior. They're going to be there for you when you need them. If you're down, they're going to be cheering you up. If you need help, they're going to be there to help you. They're not going to be all talk and no action. So stay away from those types. Now, the Magician is also a card of manifestation. The lesson of the Magician is how you can manifest your dream, your wishes. 9 of Cups. And the 9 of Cups energy is a wish. It says yes. The 9 of Cups energy is a yes to your wish. So if you're looking for love, the answer is yes. If you're looking to connect with someone, the answer is yes. If you're in a partnership, or if you're not, especially if you're not in a partnership, I think, well, if you're in a partnership or it can help you to find the right partnership or overcome the issues. But it could also help you attract the right person if you're in the wrong partnership. Because with the Tower here, the Tower is about a wake-up call, seeing the truth, and being freed. It's like, that saying, seek the truth and the truth will set you free. When you see the truth about someone, so if you've been dealing with a trickster, and, they're all talk, they had this way with words, and they got you conned, you're going to see the truth. You're going to see through that this month. And it may be shocking for some to see the truth about, but once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. And so this Tower comes to free you from an oppressive situation, whether it's a relationship or a job or whatever. Anything that's breaking down, it's about breaking down and rebuilding. It's about breaking down something that's false so that you could get on the right path. And the Magician is going to help you find that right path because you're going to visualize what you want to, the scene that you want to be in. We're at a time right now where our thoughts are very powerful. And it's really important to control your thoughts and make sure that you're focusing on what you want to happen, not focusing on what you don't want to happen. Because if you give something energy, it's going to manifest, whether it's for good or for bad. So if you allow your fears to manifest, if you focus on all your fears and, oh, this might happen, that might happen, I'm going to break up, we're going to break up, or I'm going to meet some guy who's going to be horrible, or some girl and she's going to be, focus on everything is, all good things flow easily to me. Love flows easily to me. Money flows easily to me. The right people flow easily to me. I am loved. I am, I'm in good relationships. Whatever it is that you're desiring, focus on manifesting that. Don't focus on the negative. It's so important. And you can manifest. That's what this Magician is all about. It's about manifestation through thought. Using your thoughts to create your thoughts. First, you have to think what you want. See it in your mind's eye. Feel what it would be like to be in that situation. Then speak it, because the power is in the word. And when you speak it with emotion. And if you can do that, even if it's 5 minutes every day, you're going to start to see the twinkling of it manifesting immediately. Synchronicities are going to happen. You're going to see things start to change. So with the tower represents major change, and I don't see it as a negative. I think it's great because it's going to clear away what's no longer of use in your life so that you could get on the right path and find the joy that you deserve. You've got this Two of Pentacles here. This is a card of juggling. And you might be involved in a lot of projects, trying to balance everything. You know you can't do it forever. At some point, you're going to have to let some things go. This is a card of someone who's got a lot of plates spinning. And you could be trying to keep it all together. You're thinking like, well, you're pretending to be happy in a situation. Could be a relationship, could be a job. And you're saying, oh yeah, everything's great, but you know the truth. You're just struggling. And at some point, you can't hold it. You have to let go. So there's something that has to be cleared out. Let it go. If the tower takes something away, it's freeing you to find the right partner or the right situation. So don't hold on to something if it's not working. Don't try to, it's like the tower is crumbling and you're trying to stay on the top floor. You got to get out, You can't hold on to something if it's not right for you. What's right for you can't even throw away. There's a saying, people worry about losing something of value. If something is meant to be in your life, you can't throw it away. You can't give it away. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be there. So don't worry about losing it. And if something is not right for you and it leaves your life, say good riddance, because it's preventing you from finding the right thing. If you're wasting all your energy on something that's wrong or that's just not working, so that's the lesson there. But you're coming up into the future here with the Nine of Cups. And this, as a time card, there's two time cards here. There's a 2-month time card. So the changes have already started to happen. Maybe starting like 2 months ago. And now the Nine of Cups is a card of within the month, something is going to be resolved. And you might get an answer to your wish this month because it's just forming. The Nine of Cups is in this position of just forming. The energies are just coming together. You have the Four of Swords. This is a card of taking time out to heal, to rest. So you may have been through a tower moment. You may have had some tragedy or disaster or whatever that you perceive as difficult. And now you're healing from that experience. You're resting. But you're getting ready to come back into the active life. So you just take whatever time you need to heal, to rest. And when you're ready, you're going to start to move forward again. You've got these two the King and the Queen of Swords. So you may be dealing with some kind of legal issue, the King of Swords, or you might be dealing with someone that maybe a father figure or a boss that you felt is harsh. Maybe you're thinking of a relationship from the past where the person was really harsh with you. I feel like you have some fears around authority figures or issues to work out around authority. In your environment, you have the Queen of Swords. So make sure you're not, because the Queen of Swords energy, it could be the way people are seeing you. You have this wall up. You may have this wall up because of something you went through in the past that's preventing people from getting close to you. And you're still healing from that past tower moment. It may not even be recent. It could be from way back. And you're still healing from that. And you're right. And the King of Swords is also, you're trying to figure out what's real. What do I keep? What do I let go? The King is like separating the wheat from the chaff. So he's trying to figure out, what do I need to release? What do I need to keep? What's real? What's not real? And you're trying to let your mind rule your life instead of your heart. Because in the past, Pisces always lets their, head rule their heart. Or their heart rule their head, I should say. Pisces has so much compassion and understanding for everyone. Like, you just see the divine in everyone. And sometimes people will take advantage of that sensitivity. So you've learned to it's made you a little bit harsh. Your experiences, your vulnerability. If you've gone through a tower moment because of that, because you gave too much, or you were vulnerable with someone who took advantage of that vulnerability, you've got the wall up now. And you're like, well, the next person that comes into my life better prove themselves. And you're pushing people away. I feel like you're pushing people away. But it's only because you're protecting your heart, your tender heart. So you need to drop your guard a little bit, especially if you're around someone. I mean, do a lot of thinking. You got this Hermit card. That's about doing some soul searching. Thinking like, what is it that I really need in a relationship? What is it? Who is really right for me? And not just relationships, friends, people that you're surrounding yourself with. Who's my tribe? Who's my soul tribe? Because I feel like you've been wounded in the past. And that wound has given you this harshness or this wall. Like you built this wall up. You're afraid to be vulnerable. You're protecting your heart. But that's also blocking, you're blocking love from coming in. And you have to take a risk with love. To have a real bond with someone else, you have to open up. You have to let that person in. And there's always a risk of being hurt in love. But you can't, if you don't take the risk, then what's the alternative? To be alone. To block everyone. To keep everyone away. You can't do that either. So I'm not saying be reckless and just give your love to anybody. Let them prove themselves, but don't be afraid to open up. And you have the Six of Cups, which is a card of healing from the past. And it's a card of maybe reconnecting with someone from the past and making things better. Like you've learned a lot of lessons from the past. Maybe you went through a traumatic experience in a relationship. And now you're going to apply what you learned to the new situation. You could still have love, but you're not going to make the same mistakes that you made in the past. The sixes represent harmony, that you're moving into a period of greater harmony. You're coming out of this healing mode, this hermit mode, and you're moving. Like, don't feel like you have to struggle alone. Sometimes the hermit, people feel like, oh, nobody understands me. I just have to do this by myself. I'm all alone. You have to reach out. Some people don't know that you need them unless you tell them. If you ask, you will receive. Some people don't know they don't want to intrude on your privacy, so they won't reach out to you. So then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, I'm alone because nobody cares. Reach out. Call a friend or someone you care about. Let them know that you want to connect. And you can. I feel like you can have a good connection this month, and you can heal from some past trauma. But you're going to have to drop your guard a little bit and figure out two things. Figure out what's important to you, what you really want. Visualize that outcome, that perfect, ideal situation. Then focus on the positive. Stop dwelling on the past and the past pain because you're reinforcing it. Let it go. It's gone. It happened. Can't do anything about it now. You've got to move on. And move on to love. And because there's someone in your environment, Six of Cups, this is someone who wants to give love to someone, who wants to offer love. He's giving this flowers. He's like, there's the potential for love and harmony, but you have to be open to it. So let's see what the angels have to say. And another thing is the king and the queen of the same suit. There's a soulmate out there for you. But you have to let that person in. Open up your heart. And learn how to trust and not be afraid to be vulnerable. Be wise, be wise, but also be compassionate. Don't be naive where you let somebody walk all over you, but at the same time, don't block out real love when it's there either. Okay, so let's see what the angels have to say for Pisces. What does Pisces need to know? Creativity. We, your angelic messengers, are here to help unleash the endless creative potential that you possess. Listen to the whispers of love inside your heart as we communicate with you through feeling and emotion. Let go of fear and apprehension and express the endless source of creativity you possess. Have fun and allow the inner child within you to express your true essence. All is valid. So that could be part of your healing, to do something creative, to express yourself. Poetry, music, art, whatever it is that speaks to you. Dance, even meditation and yoga, or something, some type of creative thing that brings out that where you can express yourself and your compassion, your love for the world. And that will soften your heart and help with the healing. Okay, so let's see. We have this full moon in Pisces. That's your sign. That's happening on the 10th. So the moon and Neptune is in your first house. The sun is in your 7th house. Something is being revealed at this time in a partnership. With full moons are always about, you versus the other, especially when it's in the first house and the 7th house. First house is your needs. 7th house is the other person's needs. And so this is coming to the surface. This is coming to light. Something is completing. So in some cases, sometimes full moons can mean an ending. If you see something you don't like, you may put an end to something. But it could also mean a culmination. It doesn't have to be ending. It can mean a completion where you wake up and you realize, hey, I really care about this person. And I want to take it to another level. Or I'm realizing certain things about this relationship. The moon and Neptune in the first house, you're feeling very intuitive. You need to take time to listen to that inner voice. And sometimes with Neptune in your first house, you could be confusing to people. Like they don't know how to read you. Because on the one hand, sometimes you just need to be alone. You're concerned with spirituality. You need to recharge. But it's like you're giving mixed messages with Neptune. So you're not sure how you want to present yourself. And especially with the moon there could be like instability. Like one minute you're acting one way, another minute you're acting another way. So the positive thing, well, let me talk about Mars first. Mars is in your 4th house, and it's squaring this full moon. So something is coming to the surface that also involves family, your early childhood programming. If you're living with someone, you could be fighting with family members. Mars in the 4th can sometimes mean you're spending a lot of energy around the home. Maybe you're fixing it up, you're cleaning, you're reorganizing. That would be a good way to use Mars. To do something physical, like exercise in the home, do some repair work, something where you're using your muscles. Because if you're not using your energy in a physical way, you could be fighting with people because that energy has to go somewhere. And you don't want to be fighting with the people that you're close to. So, but something may come to a head where you have to take action or speak up or fight for something that you believe in. Be assertive. Mars is assertive energy. And in Gemini, it's the sign of the communicator. So you may have to speak up. It's time to, you can't just let sweep things under the rug. You may have some kind of conflict going on and you've been biting your tongue. You may come to a point where you need to say something. You need to communicate. And it doesn't have to be harsh. Conflict resolution doesn't have to be ugly. It can just be, as long as you're respecting each other, you're respecting the person, you're just really stating what your needs are, stating what the situation is, but when you let something fester and you don't talk about it, it gets worse. It becomes like, a cancer. So you need to confront things this month in a relationship, and especially around home and family. And that will bring peace. It'll clear the air. It'll bring clarity to the situation. You've got Uranus in the 3rd house, conjunct the North Node in Taurus. And this is favoring this full moon. So there could be unexpected developments with family, like siblings or with your friends, your local environment, that could, bring some new security, some unexpected project. or unexpected. You might get a message from someone that you didn't expect to hear from. Uranus, you never know with Uranus what's going to happen. So see what flies in. But it's a positive aspect, so it involves communication. And now, because the moon is sextile Uranus, that means that you have to benefit from it, you have to take action. It's not going to just fall in your lap. So if you're wanting to connect with someone, you may be the one that has to reach out. And you could change the relationship in a good way. You have Mercury is in your 8th house in Libra. It's going to go retrograde. So when Mercury's in the 8th house, you could be dealing with financial issues. Maybe you're either getting a loan from a bank or paying off your debt, or dealing with inheritance issues, or trying to get a loan from, or getting some kind of grant money. The 8th house is always, it's like other people's money. And you may have a lot of dealings around that. Signing contracts. It's opposing Jupiter in your 2nd house. So you may have like this pie in the sky idea. I want to do this project and I need money to do it. Just don't go over the top. Don't overspend too, because Jupiter in the 2nd house can bring money. It'll come in and it'll go out just as much, because you're just spending like a drunken sailor, as they say. So just have some restraint, because Jupiter can make you overdo things, especially in the money houses. You don't want to go and like spend all this money on something and then you regret it later. But if you're signing any contracts, read the fine print, especially when it comes to loans, because Mercury's going retrograde right around this full moon. And it's going to slip back into your 7th house of partnerships. So that could bring, when Mercury retrogrades, you may have to redo something or revisit something. And when it comes to partnerships, it could be a contract that, something you agreed to in a partnership may have to be reworked. Or even a business partnership. Because the 7th house isn't just marriage or committed partnerships. It could also be business relationships. So you may be renegotiating a contract so that it has a better, some kind of financial aspect to it. So don't start something new without checking all the fine print. But if you're going back to something from the past to make it better, to retweak it, like let's say you're applying for a loan and you may have some extra paperwork, you have to redo it, or you're connecting with people from the past in a partnership, people you worked with in the past, relationships from the past, that's a good thing, because you can communicate. When Mercury's in the 7th house, it's time to talk about the relationship and come to some kind of agreement and some kind of understanding, so you can make the relationship stronger. Mercury is trining Mars, so it is a good time to really communicate about, especially if you have a family member living with you and there's some money issue. Maybe you need to get more money from somebody if you're sharing expenses, or there's something going on with money, finances, that needs to be worked out. But Mercury trine Mars is good. It's good. It's giving you the energy to take care of this situation. So don't be afraid to bring up things that might be uncomfortable. Saturn's in your 10th house, so your career recognition is great. Your career, you have a lot of responsibility. You're working really hard. Saturn can have a double meaning. Like, if you've been doing the work and you're working really hard and you're doing everything you're supposed to do and you're accepting responsibility, Saturn can represent accomplishment, where you get rewarded for your hard work and you even get like some type of promotion or recognition. The only time Saturn becomes a problem is if you haven't been doing the work and you think you're going to get something for nothing. Then Saturn can represent a fall from grace. But I don't see that, that's not for everybody, so don't panic. If you're, chances are you're doing the right thing and you're going to get rewarded. So we have this new moon in Libra, and that's in your 8th house of resources and other people's money. And so I feel like someone's coming to the rescue when it comes to some kind of financial situation. And it could be through a partnership that you're forming. Because before the new moon's going to be 2 degrees Libra. Before it hits Libra, it's going to hit Mercury and Venus in Virgo at the end of Virgo. and it's going to trine Pluto in the 11th house. And you have Mercury and Venus in the 7th house now. When Venus is in your 7th house, that could bring love. So you have this new beginning. I feel like you have a chance to form a new partnership. And it's going to be through communication, through connecting, getting out, socializing, connecting with someone. It could be a very deep connection because Venus is trining Pluto. And Pluto is in the 11th house, so it could be that a friendship can become a love affair. Like maybe you're just friends with someone, but then you start talking to them, you start spending time with them, and you realize this person, you have strong feelings for them, or there's a strong connection there. Very powerful. And it could be, so it could be a transforming thing. And then you have this new moon in the 8th house. The 8th house is the house of not only other people's money. So if you're attracting someone, a partner, they could be financially secure, but it could also bring greater intimacy into your life, like a new beginning where you're really bonding at the soul level. But you do have so you have that opportunity. If you could overcome your fears about intimacy, you can have that opportunity to really connect with someone on a deep level. And it could be through friends. You can meet this person through friends that you know, groups that you belong to. Pluto in the 11th is connecting with powerful people. People, movers and shakers, people who want to make a difference in the world. So you could be joining forces with a group that really wants to make a difference in society. And they have a lot of and they're going to bring financial support with them. This could be like a career thing. But in terms of love, Venus trine Pluto is very intense. You have very powerful feelings for each other. Almost, you have to watch that you use that power wisely and you don't try to manipulate your partner. Because with Venus and Pluto, there's always that danger of manipulation, power struggles. Now it's a trine, so there'll be less of that danger. Usually that happens more with the square or the opposition. But it's still there because Pluto is intense and Venus is intense. And especially with Venus in Virgo, you may be nitpicking your partner, like looking for all the flaws. Don't do that. Look at what's good. Look for the good things. Don't be so, don't nitpick where, you can't, like this person's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I mean, you don't want to, I'm not saying settle for anything, but don't be too picky where you're not nobody's good enough, You have to kind of find that balance. Again, Mars, now Saturn is in Aquarius. It's in your 12th house. So you have some karmic issues to resolve with Saturn in the 12th house. You have to release baggage. And the baggage that you're releasing, it's like karmic debt, old karma, family patterns, your feelings that, patterns that evolved through like your relationship with authority figures. These are the things that are holding you back. And you have to confront them and release them. And if you can do that, when Saturn leaves your 12th house, it will leave you'll feel freer and lighter because you're no longer carrying that weight of the past. But Mars is trining Saturn at the same time. So this is really a good time to spend energy around the home to try and get at those, it's like you really have to work on family patterns. Think about your childhood. How was my childhood? And how was the way that I was raised? How did that create a certain pattern in me that controls my life on an unconscious level? Because we're all products of our environment growing up. And so if you had a really strict parent, that can affect how you behave in the world or how you view yourself even. You may think like you're not good enough or you're always trying to prove yourself in the world. So you may have some family issues that stem from your parents and early childhood development that you need to look at and heal because they're no longer valid. You're an adult now and you are a capable person and you don't want to be run by unconscious programming. You want to reprogram your brain so that you can embrace love and success and not feel like, you hear that negative self-talk. That's your parent talking to you. So you want to get rid of that. And you can do that now with Saturn going through your 12th house. It's a perfect time to clear out the past and finish up old karma and release and be free so that you can embrace a new beginning. So that's coming up. But I feel like, for the most part, this reading is telling you the potential for love is there and harmony and getting what you want. And there's also a great potential for healing at the soul level. So don't be afraid to look at those places that, that you're afraid to look at. Don't be afraid to confront your shadow, heal it, and release it, because it's only going to open you up to greater love and happiness and harmony. So that's my forecast for September. If you like the reading, I hope it resonated with you. Click on the like button. Click on the subscribe button. Leave a comment if you felt like it resonated with you. I like reading all the comments. Thank you also for supporting this channel. I wouldn't be here without you. If you'd like, now this is a general reading, so it may not apply to everyone. Take what applies, leave the rest. But if you want a specific reading that is dedicated just to you and your situation, click on the link in the description box. It'll take you to my website. You can purchase a reading. We can get you on the schedule, and we'll be working together. So in the meantime, have a wonderful September. I hope you're enjoying the videos. If you're new, welcome. And I will talk to you again next month. So embrace the future. It's good. And release the pain of the past. That's my final word. Okay, have a wonderful September. I'll talk to you next month. Bye now.